Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be showcasing one of the most improved Pokemon for the Master League Premier Cup, Fairy Wind Florges. Florges has seen some play in the Master League Premier Cup previously, using the fast move of Vine Whip, but now with Fairy Wind, it has even faster energy generation and gets same type attack bonus as well. Florges is so much improved that it's actually ranked number 1 in the Master League Premier Cup, so I wanted to test it out in some practice battles with members of my Discord. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out Fairy Wind Florges in action in the Master League Premier Cup. Hopping into the first match, picking up a great lead, Florges into Garchomp. Opponent save switches into Excadrill, and I respond with Snorlax. Snorlax does have a pretty comfortable matchup against Exca because I'm able to safely tank 2 drill runs, whereas 1 superpower is enough to threaten to KO the Exca. They're going to fire off a second drill run. That is fine by me. I'm going to let it go, continue to farm up, and fire off the superpower. I'm almost at the back-to-back here. Superpower goes unshielded, and I'm able to keep switch. Back in comes Garchomp. Garchomp looking for the farm down. I fire off the body slam. That's debuffed, so it's not going to do a lot. I'm going to bring Florges in the back. They have Mamoswine. This is a fairly neutral matchup versus Exca, so I should be in a pretty decent spot here. I'm going to fire off the first drill run. Mamoswine will immediately commit the shield. At this point, my opponent knows that Mamoswine is probably going to end up being their win con. Tough decision to make here. I will shield at the last second and fire off another drill run. Drill run will not KO here, but it is going to get them quite low. They commit the final shield, and at this point, honestly, I'm just going to trust in Florges. Florges up a shield should be able to close out this game for me. In comes Florges. Look how fast the energy generation is with Fairy Wind. They fire off an Avalanche. I'm going to be able to tank that, and I'll fire back with the Moonblast. Moonblast is going to hit for some heavy neutral damage. Immediate switch into the Garchomp. Garchomp continuing to farm up. Even though this is just a Sand Tomb, I am going to be respecting it with a shield, just because I do need to preserve some HP here. So I'm going to overfarm, fire off the Moonblast. Moonblast will easily KO the Garchomp, and I should just be able to Fairy Wind down the Mamoswine and clutch the close victory. Hopping into the next match, leading Florges into Gyarados. This is typically a pretty positive lead for Florges. Opponent will immediately save switch into Snorlax, and I'm going to be staying in here to start. A Snorlax with an energy lead is a bit scary for my backline. I fire off the Moonblast. Moonblast does some nice neutral damage. I farm up, switch, and I'm able to catch what should be a body slam onto my own Snorlax. Let's go. That is absolutely massive. They do have a pretty big energy lead, but since I caught the body slam, honestly, I feel like I'm in a pretty decent spot. They're going to fire off another body slam. That works for me. I'm just going to continue to farm up here. Tried to go for the move, but unfortunately, I click it a bit too late as they fire off a third body slam. I'm going to farm up here, well past the back-to-back superpowers, and I'm going to be firing off my first move. Superpower, able to land, gets them very low. I believe this should just be another body slam, so I am going to let this through. It is just a body slam. It's a race. Snorlax able to lick down. Back in comes the Gyarados. I'm only going to be able to reach one move here. I fire off the body slam. Gyarados is able to farm me down. In comes Florges. In the back, they have Metagross, and we have the perfect alignment that we need. This is just a Meteor Mash, so I do not have to shield this. Meteor Mash does do quite a lot of damage as Excadrill is very glassy, but Exca is able to tank that. I fire off the drill run. They're committing the shield. At this point, they have to try and commit to the farm down, because if they can farm me down, then they have a chance here. Exca firing off the drill run, grabs the second shield. Exca able to reach the last second drill run. Let's go. That will take down the Metagross. And at this point, this game should be over. Back in comes Florges. Florges going for the Moonblast. Gyarados is going to fire off a move. At this point, I have 2 shields. I may as well use them. So I'm going to commit the shield and then fire off the Moonblast. If Moonblast isn't enough to KO, a Moonblast plus a Disarming Voice definitely will be. So I'm able to reach the Disarming Voice. This is going to be taking care of the Gyarados. And that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, picking up a terrible lead, Florges into Metagross, but this is why we have 2 steel counters in the back. I save switch into my best buddy Snorlax, and my opponent responds with Machamp. Honestly, this is not a terrible spot to be in. I'm able to bait out the counter user, and Snorlax is just so bulky in the Master League. They're going to fire off a cross chop. I'm going to be able to live this, and if they try and go for the farm down, which they do, I'm going to be able to force a shield. Let's go, Snorlax. I'm able to grab a shield. Machamp farms down, but honestly, that is fine by me. I'm going to bring in the Florges, tank whatever they throw here, and fully commit to the farm down. Now I have shield advantage for my Exca, and Exca with the shield advantage can be incredibly deadly. They're going to fire off another move. That is fine by me. It's the Rock Slide. I'm able to farm down and leave with a lot of energy loaded. Immediate switch into Metagross, and in the back it is Mamoswine. So we're in a pretty decent spot here, as I have a small energy lead and I have shield advantage. Drill Run, able to connect. That does a lot of damage. I will need to leave this matchup with a little bit of residual energy just to make sure that I can outpace the Metagross to the Meteor Mash. I'm going to fire off another Drill Run. At this point, they know they have to shield the Mamoswine. Mamoswine does commit the shield. I'm going to be committing the shield back here. I'm starting to get very, very low. I'm going to overfarm ever so slightly and fire off the Drill Run. I believe with this small energy head start, I should be able to outpace the Metagross. Back in comes the Metagross. I am able to outpace the Metagross. Let's go. Drill Run, massive damage. I go for the combo play into Florges, but my opponent anticipates it, and they fire off the Meteor Mash. That KOs the Florges. Excadrill, it's a race. Able to farm down the Metagross and clutch the win. Neutral lead in the next match, Florges into Snorlax. This is a matchup where Snorlax does have a small edge just due to how massively tanky it is. They're going to fire off the Body Slam. I'm going to return fire with the Moonblast. I will want to switch out of here eventually in case they have fighters in the back. I land the Moonblast, switch into my own Snorlax, and in the back they have a Surfetched. That is an incredibly cool pick for the Master League Premier Cup. They fire off the Night Slash. I'm going to let that through and continue to farm up. There, I accidentally throw an alignment, giving them a free counter. Definitely not optimal. I fire off the Body Slam, and I'm able to reach a second, really applying a lot of pressure onto the Surfetched. Body Slam is able to get the second shield. Surfetched counters down. They're down 2 shields, but they have a lot of energy loaded. I'm going to let the first move through. Surfetched, again, going for the Night Slash, hoping for the boost. In case they do actually have Leaf Blade, I am going to start shielding here. It is another Night Slash. They bring in Snorlax, and I'm able to reach the Moonblast. That is quite nice. This is going to be getting them very low. I'm going to wait for them to throw a move onto my Florges, and then try and farm down with Exca before they're able to reach the Superpower. Body Slam lands. In comes Exca. Exca not able to farm down. I think I have to call that this is only a Body Slam, and it is. That's big. What is in the back? I do have a little bit of energy. They bring back in the Surfetched, forcing me to empty my energy. I'm going to fire off the Drill Run. Drill Run takes down the Duck. In the back, they have Waterfall Milotic, and unfortunately, I cannot get to enough charge moves to take it out. In comes Florges. I just let it go. Milotic will be able to take out my Florges and secure the victory. Hopping into the next match, picking up a pretty nice lead, Florges into Garchomp. If Garchomp is running Mud Shot, it can actually fight back in this matchup, although I can survive any one move from full health. So I let it through. It's just a Sand Tomb, and I'm going to fire off the Disarming Voice bait, hoping for a shield, and my opponent calls it a very nice read. I'm going to fire off another Disarming Voice. This one will easily KO the Garchomp. Garchomp commits the shield. I'm a little worried of an Earth Power now that I'm debuffed, so I am going to be committing the shield, but they're actually running Outrage instead of Earth Power. Opponent save switches into a Shadow Gyarados. I am staying in and going for the Moonblast. Florges just charges so quickly. Moonblast, massive damage, and I bring in Snorlax. I'm going to use Snorlax as a damage sponge here to tank whatever they throw and fully commit to the farm down. They fire off an Outrage, and I'm able to farm down. In the back, they have Shadow Machamp. Definitely a scary Pokemon to see. I'm going to fire off the Body Slam. This is going to do a solid chunk of damage onto the Machamp, and I'm able to reach a second one. Snorlax, let's go. Able to grab a shield. In comes Florges. Florges, honestly, a Rock Slide might be lethal from here. I commit the shield. It's a Stone Edge, and I'm very happy that I shielded. In comes Garchomp. This should only be a Sand Tomb, because as we've seen, they're not running Earth Power. They fire off the Sand Tomb. I'm able to tank it and build up to the back-to-back Disarming Voices, and that should be game over. First one takes out the Garchomp. Second one is going to be able to take out the Shadow Machamp. Florges closing strong, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, picking up a dream lead, Florges into Dragonite. Or is it? Because this battler is running some serious anti-Florges tech with a Steel Wing Dragonite. Dragon Breath is preferred in almost every situation, but this battler is running Steel Wing, and it is doing a number on my Florges. I'm firing off a second Disarming Voice here. I'm able to grab both shields. I save switch into Snorlax, and Snorlax is going to be met with Togekiss. This is a pretty decent matchup for Snorlax just because of how tanky it is. It's able to absorb the charm damage from Togekiss and fire off quite a few body slams. I continue to farm up, firing off another body slam. This is going to be getting the Togekiss extremely low. Body slam gets them low. Togekiss is going to fire off a move. But at this point, I'm just going to let the Snorlax go. Snorlax did its job. I'm going to bring in Excadrill and go for the resisted Mud Shot farm down because Exa with energy is extremely deadly. I know the Dragonite does have a lot of energy as well. Back in comes the Dragonite. I try and click the Rock Slide, but I'm just not fast enough, and it doesn't register. They fire off the Dragon Claw. I throw one more, go for the Rock Slide, and this time I end up losing CMP to the Dragonite. It's only a Dragon Claw. I'll be honest, I don't know the Steel Wing counts for Dragonite. I fire off the Rock Slide. That gets them low. I go into Florges for a snipe, but I'm met with Metagross, and that might just cost me here. Can Excadrill still outpace the Metagross? This is going to be close. Exca is able to outpace the Metagross, thank goodness. Drill Run will easily KO. Back in comes Dragonite, but Steel Wing does not charge very quickly. Exca is able to reach the Rock Slide. Rock Slide, more than enough to take out the Dragonite and secure the win. Hopping into the final match, picking up an incredible lead, Florges into Hydreigon. And Hydreigon is staying in here, which is even better. I'm going to farm up to the Moonblast, go for the Disarming Voice, but my opponent makes a very nice catch, catching the Disarming Voice onto Exca. I bring in my Snorlax. This is actually a Mud Slap Excadrill, possibly forgot to TM it from raids, but either way, Snorlax has a dominating matchup regardless of fast moves here. They fire off the Drill Run. That is perfectly fine. I'm going to farm up and go for the Body Slam. Body Slam should put it into a range where I can farm down. Body Slam lands. Snorlax able to farm down, leaving with a lot of energy, but very low HP. Back in comes Hydreigon. I'm firing off the superpower. First one does get the shield. They're going to be able to survive the second one because it is debuffed. I fire off a second superpower. Hydreigon lets it through. I do have to be careful of a potential flash cannon. I go for the Disarming Voice, but they catch onto a Confusion Alakazam, an incredibly spicy pick. Unfortunately for this Alakazam, Excadrill just has a dominating matchup here. The confusions do add up, but Exca is just way spammier. At this point, I can save my shields. I don't really need Exca to finish off this game. I'm going to let it go. It's the Shadow Ball. I bring in Florges. Florges is going to be able to Fairy Wind down, and I leave with the Disarming Voice loaded. I do lose CMP to Hydreigon. I will commit a shield. They go for the Brutal Swing. I shield. Disarming Voice will be easily enough to KO the Hydreigon, and that is a good game. All in all, I was extremely impressed with Fairy Wind Florges. The energy generation from Fairy Wind is no joke. It's a Fairy-type Mudshot clone, meaning that Florges is spamming out charge moves left and right. Even with no coverage moves and all Fairy moveset, Florges looks to be an absolute threat in the Master League. And if you combine it with Best Buddy Snorlax and Excadrill in the back, that gives you very strong coverage against the Steel types that Florges can struggle against. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is sincerely appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.